And we are live, back again. Fashionably late as always. But we got the full crowd here. We got two out of the three in their usual kits. Got the kit contest going on still. We've got Dave, we've got Hristo. How's it going, guys? Tough derby result, but we're here nonetheless.
Yeah, man. I mean, I hope our fans or the people that actually tune in, they appreciate this because we usually only come out when we win, So here we are coming out after a negative result. So we're sucking it up. We're being impartial. So like we're growing. We're growing. What's up,
Yeah, yeah.
Hristo?
I mean, we're trying to improve, and that includes getting better people on the podcast. I know we'll get into Casey and his mistakes. I know someone that wanted him in our mega project, and we have so much like.
That's okay. He's priced out now. That the rumors that Kessie wants like 9 mil. Yeah, he's not.
Bro, I don't understand. You see, I started with so much positivity, but he wants to just start throwing shade and stuff. Like I could
I'm
match
throwing
your
cans.
violence.
I'm throwing cans from the get go, bro. I'm not playing games.
Oh my god! But I mean, yeah, it does help that we have an international break. That does help soften the emotions around a bad result because I mean, we can't go like 2.5 weeks without talking, and like it doesn't feel as bad. Well, I mean, for me, I mean, I predicted a draw. I mean, that's not something that I wanted to come true, but my expectations were pretty tempered for the derby. So I mean, coming out of it, we were very hard done by. I know me and Dave were talking off air about how it was a lot of bad luck, but you can't chalk it up to luck. You still have to be the team that is coming off of a Scudetto, the team that should have the mentality, the team that should have the luck on their side. And when they don't, they still, find ways to grind results, which we haven't really seen quite yet. But I feel like the play on the pitch is starting to indicate that, we're going to start improving here soon.
Oh, you're talking to me? My bad, bro. I was
Anybody could just take it. I mean, I was just I don't want to put anybody on the spot because I mean that was a pretty narrow ending to it.
Go ahead, Hristo. You can have it.
No, I mean, just looking at the season so far, I think we've improved in many sections. I think I saw a stat that said like we haven't conceded a goal from an open play in like 7 games, which is huge, and which is something that we should cherish because last season we've had an amazing defense under Conte, and now considering we have a new manager that's coming off, a relative decent season for Lazio, and he has a lot of players on his disposal. I think he's improving more than we expected him to, or at least I did. I did not expect him to improve the defense so much, considering the defense was actually really good last season. What we do need, I think, in fact, is an improvement in the build-up play. That involves a lot of what Lautaro does. I think him coming to the middle to pick up the ball is something that he needs to work on. But what we've said for 2.5 years now is that he needs to improve his finishing, and he hasn't done that. And I think that's the biggest problem that we've had with him since he arrived at the club. I do think that he has the potential to improve, but we saw him squander again and again and again chances that other players would have scored and converted. However, I think that Inzaghi may need a special like kind of treatment of Lautaro just because like he is a different player. He's someone that is considered a high top priority, but at the same time he doesn't actually perform as such. And at the end of the day, he may or may not be the responsible person for us not winning the match, because yeah, he is the one that missed the penalty. Even though I thought that after Çalhanoğlu scored that he was the one that's supposed to actually shoot the second penalty and take the second penalty. I don't understand the decision behind it, But I don't know. What do you guys think about that decision? About Giancarlo scoring and then him not taking the second penalty as well?
Well, personally, I mean, I've been probably the most vocal guy on Inter Twitter about our penalty situation. Whatever it is, guys troll me, they make fun of me when I complain about a penalty and the guy actually happens to score it. They don't understand that what I'm actually clamoring for is a, a set hierarchy. I feel like it's kind of amateurish, and it does play in your mental when you don't know for sure that you're the guy and that's your responsibility. You don't go into training knowing that this is my responsibility. That's something I gotta be perfect on, because if it happens, I have to make sure I come through for the team. It's always a situation of, okay, they have a little discussion, who's taking it. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I understood why Hakan took it, because, of course, it was like a grudge match for him. You saw he was really up for that match. He ran for 90 minutes. He was taking in tackles and everything. That meant a lot to him. So if that was the situation, then let him take the second one, because the first one, he took it with no hesitation, right down the middle. And why the merry-go-round thing? That's my situation. Okay, now I understand that we've made Lautaro or number one penalty taker. That's what the hierarchy is supposed to be. It's supposed to be Lautaro, Hakan, and I think it is Perisic or DeMarco, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that Lautaro is number one because he's the best. That's the thing. I think that he's number one because, like, he's the guy, and they want to get him goals and stuff like that. Because this is like his third penalty I remember he's missed in his tenure as an Inter player. So it's like he's probably scored 4 and missed 3. I'm just throwing stats off my head right now, but I'm saying that to say this: like, I feel like we need to get that set. We need to handle that situation, man. A penalty is supposed to be almost a guarantee that you're gonna score. And I'm never confident. This season, I have never been confident in any of our penalties. So that's an issue. That's something that we need to solve. It's easier said than done, but I believe we have to have a player in the squad that's capable of taking those penalties consistently and knowing that, okay, that's the guy. So I don't like the situation right now. I want it settled.
Yeah, and on that, on Lautaro's penalty record, I looked it up, and before before his miss in this match, I believe it is, he had only missed 1. He was like 6 of 7, I believe, is what this said. Yeah, after the Sassuolo penalty,
I remember one that Lukaku gave him last year that he missed, right?
Yeah, I guess that would have been the one that he missed before this one. But I mean, even going back to that Sassuolo penalty that he converted, like, it didn't. I don't know. It wasn't a very convincing penalty. Like, I mean,
yeah, the guy just happened to go the other direction. Yeah, no,
did he go
went
the
the
right
wrong
way?
way.
He went the wrong way. Okay, but it was like a good height for saving. Like, it was pretty central. Like, and honestly, the penalty that Tetrachanu, however, Tiramisu, whatever his name is, saved. I mean, it was a better penalty than the one that he made against against a guy that usually terrorizes Inter. I mean, like, what's his face at Sassuolo? I'm blanking at the moment. Yeah, Consigli. I was gonna say Cranio, but I knew it wasn't Cranio. But yeah, Consigli. Oh God, that fucking guy. But yeah, I mean, it was a good save, but it also, I mean, the lowest hanging fruit in all of this is you have Hakan, who's already made a penalty, who has taken who knows how many shots, penalty or not, against this guy in training for Milan for like 5 years. Like, I don't know. If anyone's gonna know how to beat this guy, it's gonna be him. He should have taken the second one, but I get that, like, the first one was even just given to him because he was like, "Yo, I really want to take this," and like Lautaro gave it to him. But I mean, there is no excuse. Like, if you're wearing the number 10 at Inter and you're supposed to be the main man, the main striker, the main Argentine striker at Inter, you need to be putting these goals away. I mean, Icardi almost always put these away. I mean.
Like, yeah, I mean, we can't criticize Icardi for that. Like, that guy was a guarantee. But yeah, I mean, I know last episode. except for that one empathy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know last episode I threw Lotaro some bell. He made me look stupid because I was like, hey, he's doing everything else he needs to do. He's working hard. And I was actually listening to the audio version of that like 2 days ago, so it's still fresh in my head. I'm like, yeah, he was working hard. He's doing everything he needs to do. I mean, the team doesn't rely
Which
on
is
him
true.
on goals, but then again, like you got, like Mikey said, you got the number 10 on your on your back, and you have to take responsibility. It's easy for us to sit there and criticize him because that wasn't a poor penalty by any stretch of the imagination, and we're not having a lot of this conversation if he scores it. But I just feel like things being what they are, the facts being what they are, we have to address the two issues, which are his form in front of goal right now, which is abysmal to put it politely, and or penalty situation where it's like at this point, like I don't even like if we get a penalty, I'm not even sure anymore because it's like I have the stress. Like, damn, who first? My first stress is who are we gonna have take it, and my second stress is who is it? Is the person gonna score it? You know, so like it's a penalty is not a oh my god, okay, we're about to score type of shit anymore to me at Inter, and we need to fix that.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, there were other things in this match that didn't go our way. I mean, finishing from open play wasn't there. I can think of a few clear-cut chances that weren't converted by either striker. Then I know Barella had a chance that was blocked off the line, and then Vidal had a very similar chance after he came on, and it got blocked twice. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, some of it I guess is just right place, right time for defenders, and some of it is our guys not finishing. But I mean, that was something going into the season. Everyone was like, yeah, the goals are going to have to come from everyone, and they're going to have to come consistently from everyone, like little chip ins from everyone, but consistently. Like when you get your chance, you have to score it.
Yeah,
Like, because it's going to fall to someone else next. And if you haven't scored, you could you could be down in a match, or like you could still be chasing it and you're putting more pressure on yourself. And that's when you scuff even harder. I think that's where Lautaro is at this point. Um, that
yeah.
guy is way
I
too
think
far in his head the way that like Dumfries has been.
yeah, and you could see it on his face too after he missed it, and he tried so hard to make amends. Oh, and you were talking about chances missed. I guess we could talk about when Hakan had that volley, and then Lotaro missed it by like half an inch. The tap, it would have been a tap in. So yeah, it was a matter of bad luck, man. We don't have to look any further than the goal we conceded to see that okay, shit, it was a bad luck because I'm watching the match, and for 80 minutes, we're pretty much dominating. And at some point, their fans were booing because it looked like they weren't even trying to create anymore. You know, so it was a domination, but we don't have the results to show for it. You
You
know,
know,
it just sucks.
the funniest thing when you mentioned both Lautaro and scoring penalties and all that is that until what last year when we spoke, I mean, at the beginning of the season, let's say, when we were
Mm,
speaking about who's going to replace Lukaku and his goals, because no
mhm.
one or most of the people didn't have that much faith in Dzeko. I think my first thought was, Lautaro is going to score those goals, and the midfielders, Çalhanoğlu, Barella especially, will chip in with a few goals, you know, per at least, I don't know, a month, let's say. Every month, if they can score 2 goals, it's going to be this is that. But that didn't happen. It was Dzeko who actually replaced Lukaku in a very, very good way, considering what we paid for him or what we didn't pay for him. Um, and Barella has improved so much that he takes a lot of shots throughout the game. His conversion rate may not be at the level that we need him to be, but he's what only 24. He's going to improve for sure. And we have Shalhanoglu, who will expected him to be the Eriksen player type of player, or at least what he was for Milan, which was playing behind the striker as a classic number 10, which he doesn't play like that at Inter. And he's more of a complete player when it comes to his playing style at our club.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
for
mean,
sure.
there's a lot of flux within the squad. There's a lot of people, a lot of guys trying to, fill the next step of, I mean, their career progression. And like
Hmm.
we're just at that early stage setting, whatever, of that, to where you see flashes of it. Like you see like Hakan playing like he did against Milan. You see like Barella with like when he gets those goals and when they go in and they're just absolute bangers. But I mean,
Hmm.
then you get shots. You get like 5 wasted shots and a half sometimes from him.
Yeah, yeah.
You get Lautaro in these like scoring droughts that, I mean, he doesn't seem to be taking very well. I mean, he'll come out of it. Like, I mean, eventually he
Yeah,
will. He'll
yeah,
find a
he always
goal.
does. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll find a goal and he'll get rolling from there. But like that penalty would have been the perfect starting point. And
Yeah.
for him not to get that, it's almost like, all right, well, where's it going to come next? And then
Yeah,
you get,
it's like, damn, I'm cursed. What's going on? You know?
yeah, and then you move on to Dzeko, who, I mean, some rumors, I mean, the guy's kind of got a messed up hamstring now. Like, not exactly sure how long that's gonna be or how serious that is. I mean, not all
Hmm.
the medical tests
No,
are out, but I mean,
I think
if you can get him to miss the international break, that's fine. But if you have him missing for Napoli, that's a big problem.
I don't think it's that serious because today I was reading something where the assistant coach of the Bosnian team was saying that, hey, listen, we know that Inter don't want us to play him, but if he's ready, he's gonna play. So I guess they kept him over there at the camp because it's not that serious for them to even send him back to his club. So they're probably thinking that they're gonna sit him the first match and then play him the second. So I think he'll be fine as far as playing. But one more thing I wanted to say about Lotaro, I missed the chance to make that point earlier. I feel like this guy, especially now that you're the guy that's going to be taking the penalties, he needs to take his time and training and develop a technique because all the top penalty takers in the world, they have a technique. You know, it's not like you pick a side and you shoot it. You have to learn how to probably fake out the goalkeeper a little bit and stuff like that. Because the guys like Jorginho, or even Kessie, like when Kessie does his little dance, his little whatever, like he's fucking with that keeper's head. And we could laugh all we want. He doesn't miss plenty of them. He doesn't miss a lot of them. So I don't know. It's picking and choosing again. Like if he scores it, we're not having this conversation. So I guess let's not dwell on it too much.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, it just is a bigger it's a bigger example of, the lack of finishing we've seen in recent weeks, even though we're still getting goals. I mean, no one has kept a clean sheet against Inter in Serie A this season. The only team that's done it has been Shakhtar, and I mean, Shakhtar is, that's its own issue in itself. I mean, there's a chance to resolve that coming up in the next couple of weeks, but this is something maybe into the second half of the season picks up, like Taylor two halves like last season, where first half of the season it was kind of sputtering, but mostly just sputtering in defense. And then, the defense clicks and then we just go on a run. Maybe this season you just need the attack to, snap into place, and then you're on the same type of run because the defense is back. That was just a learning curve to try to figure out how to play this higher line. I'm not worried about the defense anymore. I think we've seen enough good showings in the past few weeks. I mean, it may not be a record of clean sheets this season. Like, you're not going to keep like 20 clean sheets or anything, but you're not
Mhm.
generally going to give up more than 1 or 2 goals. And when you have a team that scores 2 to 3, that's a good ratio. But
Mhm.
it's a matter of getting there. I don't know if it is going to just be more of these guys getting confidence. I don't know if it's going to take somebody coming in January, but I mean, something's going to have to give if, we're going to make up this 7 point gap between us and the two clubs ahead of us. I mean, you got Napoli right after the break. You never know what's going to happen in the first match after an international break. I'm trying to say that optimistically for once because we really need that result. But yeah, you never know what's going to happen. That could be the best time to face Napoli, but it could also like be the worst time for us to face them. You never know. Um, and if you lose there, you're -10 from the top. That's a decent hole.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, if
Yeah.
you can even get a draw there, you need that, but you really need some scoring to start, and you need it to probably start in that match. I don't know. Am I looking too far ahead?
No, I don't think so. Not at all. Because I mean, I was the president of the It's Too Early club, but now we're really in the middle of the season right now. We're close to halfway. Is what we've played, what, 13 matches, 13. So what, five more matches, six until we're in the halfway line. So we're making serious headway here, and once we get to the halfway line, teams really start deciding what their priorities are. So if we get to that point and we're still hanging back with 7 points or more, Napoli is just gonna shut everything down and just decide that they're gonna focus on the league, and same with Milan, as they should. So we need to when we come out from the international break, we need to treat this as a must win game and go out there and punch them in their mouth.
Dave,
What's up?
talk to me about the goalkeeper performance.
Man, there wasn't even anything in it this time.
I mean, there was Salamakers that hit the
Oh yeah,
woodwork
well yeah,
out of nowhere, and this dude just sat there like, what the fuck, like. And I'm happy Perisic kind of barked at him after that. I'm not sure if you guys noticed, like, yo, what the fuck you doing? Like, why are you gonna hit?
Look, I'm sure it was more than what the fuck are you doing. I think there were some curse words said at him, considering they speak the same language. But I would have done the same, if not worse.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that's settled, man. We all agree on it. There's no debate. He's a liability, So whatever we're hoping for, whatever our hopes and dreams for the season, or despite or in spite of Andanovic, that's what it is. But it's not a situation where we could count on him or be like, yeah, we have a world-class goalkeeper. We got this, we got that. Like, we have a serviceable goalkeeper. That's what it is at this point. He's serviceable, and that's about it.
Yeah, and the other thing that really gave me a heart attack in that match was the first half. I think it was first half, the Leao shot, and then he just gives this giant rebound right back to him, and we're lucky that he just like slammed it into the curva.
I mean, skied it. Like, yeah, I don't know what's up with this guy, man. Like, I mean, he's finished. I guess that's what's up with him.
Yeah. To move back to finishing, we've got a couple of questions from Ian. Been on the pod a few times, of course. Says,
sure.
if Bilotti's available, would you guys take him? And I guess, I mean, beggars can't be choosers at this point. We need goals, and he's a goal scorer, and he knows the league. Like, he'll get you 15 in the league, like, as a rotation player, no worries.
Yeah, I mean, I would, but I'm not sure if that's exactly what we need right now. Because again, he's not the most clinical guy either. He's a guy that he requires loads of chances to score goals. So we'll probably just add him to our stable of non-clinical strikers right now, along with Zeko, Lautaro, and Correa. I'm not sure if there's anybody available in January that you could go get, somebody that that if you create the chances, like, he's gonna score them. But I know that's what you were thinking. But rumors are heating up about Raspadori. So I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure if that's what we need. But hey, hopefully, that's what happens and it works out. Maybe we need the new blood. He comes in and everybody's energized and they don't want to lose their spots and they start acting accordingly. But
what's your opinion on him?
Raspadori? No, I like him. I like him a lot. He's very talented. You could tell he knows how to play. He has the IQ. He has the technique, the quick little exchanges and stuff. But he's tiny. That's my problem. And I'm sure you guys noticed, like, as soon as they took off Zeko against Milan, we couldn't hold the ball anymore, because that's the only way we've been able to keep possession for a certain amount of time is by Zeko either keeping their defense busy or by him holding up the ball himself and laying it off. So we can't add another tiny guy that doesn't get pushed around. You saw what we did to Brahim Diaz. Like, he was getting bullied all over the place. So that's what happened to those diminutive players in the league. So I'm hot and cold about him.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't seem like, I like him too. Like, you can tell, like, there's a player there. I mean, it may be a couple of years off from being, at that potential, but he's just not a world beater type to me. We're way off the Bellotti question now, but Raspadori as the more concrete rumor at the moment. He just doesn't inspire me for anything in the second half. That reminds me more of bringing in like an Adair type a few seasons ago.
Yeah.
Like it's not what you need. You really need to go for what you need and not really the future, unless you're punting this season and just looking for the future.
Yeah. So I mean, what names do you have in mind? Though? That's the thing, because as the question came up, I'm like, okay, like in January, maybe that you had mentioned it, the Weghorst guy, like that's the profile that we need. Is that the target man, um, So I don't know. That's the only person I
And
could think about.
it's just also confusing because like Lazio, I mean, they never really played with a target type guy, did they? I mean, I don't consider Immobile to be this, big, target type striker. I mean, he was,
Hmm.
really a box striker, and he played off of,
But that's the
he would
thing. The
play
thing
off of a
about his,
midfielder.
I used to say the same thing, and I remember I was arguing with people and about when we sold Lukaku that we didn't need a big guy because of Immobile, because of Inzaghi's strikers not being big guys or whatever. He doesn't use a target man most times. That's because I realized that his midfield, he always wins a midfield battle with Milenkovic Savic, with Biglia in there. No, not Biglia. I'm saying Lucas.
Yeah, Leva, yeah.
Lucas Leiva, who's a very physical guy, very still at his age, he's putting tackles in, he's winning the midfield battle, and that's what it is. And we can't do that. We have tiny midfielders, and we can't win the midfield battle. So I think that's what the difference is. At Lazio, his midfield was dominant, and that way he didn't need a target man to hold up the play. But I enter the fact that we don't have that dominant midfield, we have to use Deco. That's why a lot of times you see we skip the second the second phase and take Route One straight to Zeko because we can't even hold it up. Hopefully, he could bring the ball down and find an overlapping Dalmian or lay it off to Barella or something. That's the only way we've been able to get something going.
Yeah, it's really hard to watch at times when there's nobody to win the ball, and it's just hoof it, hope it goes out of bounds or something, and maybe you win possession off the throw. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, when it's just straight back at you, like the whole pitch is just tilted like this, like well on the screen, I guess you could say like 45 degrees straight back at you.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not that's not how you win, and that's what
And
happened in
it's
those last
frustrating.
5 minutes when the Salamakers chance very well could have gone in. The follow up by I forget who took the follow up, but that could have gone in too. Was it Kessie?
I'm not
Uh,
sure. I think it wasn't Lao. I'm not sure.
It could have been Leal, but
no,
whoever
Leao was
had
already
that, they
gone by
missed
then.
it. Okay,
Probably
yeah,
Rebic, maybe.
yeah. Whoever it was, that very well should have gone in. I mean, like as much as we talk about not having any clinical finishing in that match, I mean Milan had zero finishing. It took our defense to finish for them.
For them.
So I mean, that match. I mean, the best thing about that is that Napoli also drew, so no harm, no foul. But to go back to these questions, I mean, Ian also back saying regarding Bellotti, I think a lot of people right now, I'm inserting that in my own words, but he says since the PIF rumors have been confirmed by I'll say various sources, we could start dreaming bigger. Any other strikers to join Toro up top. But I mean, a lot of people are fired up about PIF again. It could just be international break cycles. It could be, some actual progress. I mean, there are so many conflicting reports, but
Mm-hmm.
it seems in my non journalist eye to be gaining traction. But I feel like there's so much that would have to happen. And I mean, January is less than 2 months away. They'd have to complete an entire sale of the club before then, have to, decide what they're going to do and buy players. You'd have to have all that happen in the next month and however many
So,
days. And I don't see that happening. I think, what we see as has been the plan all season, even if PIF are to come in, I think it's going to be too little too late to hit January. I think
sorry,
it's going to
Mike.
be, oh, go ahead.
What are the last reports on PIF?
Okay, so let me pull them back up. It was something. It was some legal document that is said to have been signed, but I'm not. That's not my area of expertise. I'm trying to
Because
stall while my phone loads.
I mean, we
Okay,
have
Supposedly it was like a
so
pre-contract,
yeah,
pre-agreement or
yeah,
something.
an MOU, which is a memorandum of understanding, has been signed between Inter and PIF. This is nothing official, but more of a pre-contract, according to reports. And
could
so I
it
guess
be like
that's.
a simple sponsorship?
I don't think it would be a sponsorship. I think it's more saying like if we sell, we're selling to you, and that comes on the
Mhm.
heels same day as Evergrande, the Chinese company, Chinese real estate company that Suning are, you know, got their entire lot thrown in with defaulting on their debts. So I mean, you got both
Did
of
they?
those two news, yeah,
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
both of those two news stories hitting like back to back. So I mean, it makes sense that they're like, all right, we're gonna have to dump this club at some point because we might not even be, an actual company anymore. So I mean, something's gonna give at some point, but I don't know if it's gonna happen before January. So I wouldn't dream any bigger than some Serie A level striker coming in. Maybe I mean we've seen Raspadori. I'd like someone more like Skamaka, I guess, if you're gonna stay in the league. But yeah, it's gonna be that level of signing. It's not gonna be like bringing in um whatever name from outside have you. I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't know what you
yeah.
guys think, but it's
No,
too little, too late at this point for January.
no, I agree. I mean, let's say if we want to indulge, it, then let's say that it does happen real quick. They close within the month of November, and then they spend December budgeting and making plans or whatever when the hope happens. Uh, there's a certain guy that definitely go get in Florentina right away, right away.
Oh
Uh,
no.
yes, that's definitely who I'd go for because
Vlahovic?
yes, Vlahovic. And you
Really?
just plug that guy into the amount of chances that this team is creating right now. We're a whole different level. 'Cause I watch him very very closely. I watch this guy. I love the player, man. Like Fiorentina don't make much for him, but even the goals that he scores, you could see how smart he finishes. He doesn't panic. He's placing balls in corners and stuff. That's a top striker for me. So that's the guy that I would go for. But not believing that it's gonna go through and that we're gonna have the money. Skamaka would be fine. I mean, he's a big guy. He fits the profile. But I doubt that Sassuolo would want to sell him in January. Uh,
Especially
they're
after
closer.
selling Caputo in the summer.
Exactly. They're closer to selling to letting Raspadori go, in my opinion, than they would be to letting Skamaka, because Skamaka is a guy that comes off the bench every match, whereas Raspadori he sits him, he plays him sometimes, he doesn't. So Skamaka's probably more important to him.
Yeah, that's another thing about Raspadori that kind of concerns me is like this guy's supposed to be the next big thing, but he's not even getting playing time. I mean,
Yeah,
even like it's apples to oranges because it's a midfielder, but I mean Tonali was on a bad Brescia team in Serie B and Serie A, and he was still getting minutes. He was still playing just about every match for them. I mean, young Barella was getting minutes every single match for Cagliari. Like, this guy, he's not going to develop if he's not getting time, and he's not going to come to Inter and be a starter. So he's not going to get time here either. So it just seems like I don't know. It's just something about it does not. It seems a little fishy to me that this
mm.
guy's going to be able to come in and make an impact if he's to come.
I
Yeah. I
mean,
mean, it kind of sounds like one of those deals that is one of those players that we've always liked for a long time, and we promised them we would sign them or something like that. Like.
mm,
And because I don't see, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I like the player, I see the talent. It's obvious that he's gonna be a player. He reminds me a little bit of Toto Di Natale. So
true.
that's who I think he could be like. But the consistency is not there for me to be like, okay, bring him into Inter yet. You know, he hasn't proven that yet. I would like to see him do it on that level first. But it looks like one of those guys, kind of like Barella, a guy that we've probably followed for years, and a guy that loves Inter and that we probably promised that we're gonna keep doing your thing. We're gonna eventually bring you in because reportedly Juve were interested and he flat out denied them. So maybe he knows something we don't know.
Mike, I don't think it's comparable or it's comparable. What you said about Tonali, because Tonali was their own, product. He was at the club for such a long time, and at the end of the day, Brescia didn't have anyone in the midfield that was, on par with him or better than him. But Sassuolo has someone like Boga or Berardi, Juricic.
Yeah,
Those
but
are
well, I mean,
all.
we're not linked to those guys, and those guys are starting. Why are we linked to the 21-year-old that's not playing? Is my thing. That's my only gripe with all of this, because you can see he's talented, but it's like, what is potential talent if it's not being utilized, if it's not being honed?
Yeah.
I mean,
I really don't know how to answer that one because it's like you would think that in theory like their team is weaker than ours, so they like if the guy can't get into theirs, can get minutes into theirs, then what makes you think that he's just gonna come in and fit into us? Unless it's a fit situation where we're like, yo, this guy we could plug him in next to a Dzeko or as a second striker, buzz around, and he's gonna flourish in that 2-man system. That's completely different because Sassuolo is still running a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, I think, which he doesn't really fit. He's not big enough to be a main striker, not quite a winger and stuff like that. So maybe that's what it is, but it's not making perfect sense to me right now, Raspadori.
you know,
Especially, go ahead.
the transfer or the rumors about Raspadori remind me of the Bastoni type of deal. Basically, he's like two years away from being actually a usable player for Inter,
Uh,
and just the club is just jumping in, seizing the player when they
and
have the
sending him back.
opportunity, and yeah, that's the thing that makes the most logic, because he doesn't have the actual experience nor the playing time so far in his career to be starting for Inter or to be usable. I think Inter needs someone more experienced. I think Sanchez was an amazing signing, and I think his time is coming to an end at Inter. And maybe in the summer we can go after someone older, more experienced, someone that can replace Sanchez and contribute to the team right away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
do.
agree.
If anyone else has anything on this, go ahead, and then I want to move on to another question from Ian also. Um, so I'll go ahead and move on. He asks, should Vidal be starting every game? Offensive playmakers just don't click for us. Ericsson, Hakan would be better in a different system. I mean, Vidal can't start that much because of his age and his. I mean, at that age, his fragility can start to become an issue. And I think if we were to start, using this guy that way, I don't think it would. You'd use him, you'd have 2 great games, and then you'd have 2 mediocre games, and then he'd be gone for 2 months with a hamstring injury or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And the
you know.
thing,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, bro. And the thing is, with his style of play too, that's a guy that he thrives on energy and always being busy. His butt is always on the floor tackling guys and stuff. Um, you need energy for that, and at his age, you can't recover as quickly as you used to when you were young. So I guess that's why they're managing him like that. So yeah, I don't think he could start every game. I would love to get what he offers. Like when you watch the match versus Sheriff, for example, that second match, what he offered us that match, I would love to have that in our midfield every match. But it's just realistically speaking, we can have that. Even Zeko, for example, I'm kind of off topic. Nobody's mentioning it, but his form is dipping. He hasn't scored in what 3-4 matches. His form has dipped. But it's something that we should expect with guys at that age, and that's why we should have other players to pretty much pick up the slack as the older players recover and regain their fitness.
Agreed. And I don't. I mean, Ian made a great point, but yeah, I agree with Mike. Vidal doesn't have the stamina, I don't think, to start every single game. I think he relies too much on the energy side of things, I mean, Ericsson was amazing last season. Like, especially the second part of the season, he was really, really good. And Çalhanoğlu is not the attacking player that I or we expected him to be. He's more of an overall, I don't know, player. He tackles a lot. He is not afraid to get stuck in. He's not afraid to go all out, and
Yeah,
make
but
the
that's a
most
new
out of
part to his
situations.
game. That's
Yeah,
new to this year. I mean, which is
absolutely.
good.
And
Like I'm really glad like he's showing a willingness to evolve, and I think he could be a really good player if he continues to evolve like we saw this weekend.
Yeah.
But it
No, I think
is
that's something that Inzaghi's working with him on, and that's why he always makes sure to come out and defend him every chance he gets. Every time the guy is starting to get criticism, Inzaghi's sticking his neck out, just saying, "Hey, no, I love how he trains. I love this. I love that." So hopefully, I mean, because it's a new position for him, And remember Ericsson as the main example. Ericsson struggled, so let's give the guy some
yeah,
slack.
it's the same evolution. I think, going from a number 10, a guy that's really far forward, to a guy who's not going to be very far forward.
Yeah.
He's going to get forward, he'll make those runs, but much more of his work is going to be in the center of the pitch than in the final third or in between the lines or anything like that.
hmm
But it is a good point. I agree with Hristo that, it is a different type of player now, and that's what we need. We need him to be that kind of player, because when you have a fully fit Vidal beside Barella with Brozovic, all of them, all of them are strong players, but there are going to be times where they can't play, and it's either Hakan or it's going to be Gagliardini and Vecino. And
oh,
I think we
fuck
all
me.
know who we'd rather see out of that group.
Bro, even at this point, like. But listen, I see Ian got another good question. You guys want to talk about that? The one about
Oh, this
Esposito.
that's strange.
Oh, the Esposito one. Okay. Yeah. The interview Esposito gave to Italian media about youngsters in Italy. I mean, I didn't see the whole thing. If it was an entire commentary on being a young player in Italy, or if it was just him being like, yeah, I came in late, whether it was by accident or if he thought he was hot shit or what, I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
coming in and then like Handanovic like giving him the neck of his life, and then D'Ambrosio not talking to him for a week. I mean, or a month, I guess a month. But I
Yeah,
mean, when you're 18, 19, whatever age he is, and you're late, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
maybe it's a little bit of a toxic culture, but I mean, that's how it is when you're playing professional football. I mean, if I'm late to my job, like, people are going to be pissed at me. If you're late to yours, people are going to be pissed at you. So, I mean, it's
100%.
just, it is what it is. I mean, it's kind of funny that, like, Handanovic, like, he rocked the guy, but other than that, like,
Yo,
I mean,
I,
it's a
I read
pretty
the comment.
non-story to me.
I read the
Yeah.
comment and I laughed at someone saying that's the first time Handanovic actually moved. And you know what he said?
But listen, honestly, like I feel like the situation is this, like, he shouldn't have come out and said some of those things, especially about the whole thing about how young players you're not giving fair chances in Italy. If you mess up, you're not gonna get into the team. You this, you that. I mean, it has some truth to it, but at the end of the day, nobody really cares. Like if you were good enough and doing it in training, it would translate into you getting some playing time. It's that simple. A guy like Zaniolo, like when we moved them to Roma for Nainggolan, nobody expected him to be that. But it's like first I think first they sent him to their Primavera team, just like he was with ours, and then he started dominating, and then trained with the first team, and then they're like, oh shit, we might have something there. So like I think the cream always rises to the top. And I'm not saying that Esposito is not going to be a player for us, but at that point when we had him, like he just wasn't ready. So he needs to shut up about being given a chance. It's not like you were this phenomenon that we were holding back. He's doing good right now in the Swiss league. Kudos to him. So let's
Absolutely.
see if he can keep it up. But he doesn't need to come out and criticize the league. And as far as his treatment, that's normal, man. Like when I played sports in high school, when I was a freshman and stuff on the team, like people would like if I would mess up, like my repercussions would be harder than the other people because I'm the youngster. I'm supposed to be learning the ropes and all of that. So that's nothing to me, man. Like it's just being a kid. He got some attention to him. I guess the Swiss press or whoever he gave that interview to, they put a mic in his face and he didn't know how to act. He started blabbering.
Well, I mean, hopefully it's something that puts a chip on his shoulder. I mean, maybe he comes back to Italy and is like, I'm gonna prove all y'all wrong about, this perceived, lack of
Yeah.
youngsters in the league.
Hmm.
There are times where Italian managers do put more stock into what they know than what someone could be. I think
Yeah.
that is true because I mean Ian also says that he believes that the Italy not giving youngsters a chance is true. I think it's more that Italian managers hate the unknown. Like
Hmm.
if they have something that they feel is more secure, they're going to go with what is more secure because they think that gives them a
Hmm.
better chance to win, or maybe not as big of a chance to win, but less chance to lose. It's risk mitigation.
And also, it's like we gotta keep in mind that Serie A is a volatile league. Like I'm not sure what the stats are, but I'm pretty sure we're in the top five leagues. We're the league with the most sackings every season. Because this general alone, they account for at least two of them every season. So I'm sure,
And
like that's
Thiago
probably,
Motta.
huh?
And
Yeah,
Thiago
Thiago
Motta.
And
Motta.
Thiago Motta. And there's always Ranieri coming in the middle of the season to save a team and all that. This is like a soap opera. So I guess that's one of the reasons why teams are like, coaches are like, yeah, I'm not about to lose my job over this little teenager,
You know,
So
yeah, I just wanted to catch up on Ian's question. I think I mean we all remember the comments that Cutrone made about the league and
mhm,
what it means to the youngsters and how the Italians or Italian youngsters are treated compared to foreign, blah blah blah.
mhm.
The Brexit talk, but at the end of the day, he was just shit. Let's be honest. And
Yeah.
Esposito isn't. I think he has a lot of potential. He needed this experience in a lesser league, close to home, somewhere that he will actually play. He'll get a lot of
Has he been
experience.
playing recently? I
I
haven't
think
heard
he
anything
has.
about him
I,
recently.
I, I I think he's injured or something like that.
But it doesn't matter. Like just by being there, just by being at Basel, a club with such a stature, playing in the European leagues, it's something. It's a step up instead of going to Empoli or going to Genoa, sideways steps and all that. And Mike, I think you hit it right on the nail because yeah, Italian owners are afraid of the unknown. That's why we can see Ballardini every single season going to Genoa. That's why we can see Mazzari going to any other bottom five clubs. Um, and I think the culture was more prevalent when you can recall teams like Chievo, who had, if you remember, Gamberini, Dainelli, Sorrentino, like all of them were like 37, 38, 39, and they were always like slow, bad, and they were,
Pellissier.
oh, Sergio. And they were afraid to give youngsters the chance. And that culminated in 2016 by Italy not qualifying for the Euros. And after that, I think Ventura got the most slack, and the culture in Italy and Serie A changed a lot. And nowadays, we can see a lot of quality players that are actually young, that are playing at huge clubs. I don't know, Barella,
Bastoni.
Locatelli, Bastoni. Like they're still, or they're all young. They're something that Italy didn't have back in 2016, and it was only 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me, if you're a youngster in Italy and you want to play, you have to be like up there, like really, really, really good. If you're just like, I mean, replacement level type youngster, you're not going to get the time of day. But I mean, it still is a merit system. If you go on a loan the way that Bastoni went on a loan and play at Parma the way he played at Parma, of course you're going to get that. You're going to get an opportunity for that next step. But I feel like there are some players in the league that when they get those loans, whether it is, a manager being like, fuck, like I'm one bad result away from like losing like my job, a lot of players get lost on these loan spells. That's where the real challenge is trying to stand out, whether it's, taking the Esposito route and going out to Switzerland, or if it's, the deal we had with Parma with Bastoni. Like, I mean, there's just, you have to find the best way to stand out. And, if you're going to these places where, it is this highly intense, I must win this match today type deal, like, yeah, you're not going to get playing time, but that's also on you and your agent. Like, you need to go find where you can get playing time. Like, I mean, I remember Agume last season when Spezia promised him playing time and then never gave him playing time. I don't know if that's on him and his performance, but you got to
He was
find the
actually
right
good.
place for you. Yeah, and he was good
I
when he
mean,
played.
when he played, he was good. Yeah,
It's
they
about
gave him the number
finding
10
what's
and
best for
everything.
you as a player, I think,
Mhm.
from my, non like you take what you want from a kid who plays on the rec fields in Tallahassee, Florida, but that's the way that I see it. But you know, Serie A, Italian football, it really is a special place for good, for better or for worse. Best of luck to what's his face at Genoa now, Shevchenko.
Shevchenko, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck him.
best of luck to him, because 2 matches in, you don't have a result, you're on the hot seat.
I mean, they're under new ownership now, so I think they just sold the club. So
Many changes, I don't think. We saw Parma change ownership and still, sack their
That's because
coaches.
they were
But,
hiring bad managers, like
I mean, it's
hiring
not
D'Aversa, hiring what's his name, the guy that was at Lecce a couple years ago.
Verani.
Liverani.
Yeah, hiring those level managers. Yeah, that's not getting you anywhere. Come on now.
But their team was actually fucking awful last season. Without Kulusevski, they were awful. Gervinho declining. The only
Yeah,
decent
I
player
mean,
was
they
Puchka, and he's
definitely
still
did
scoring.
that. Their problem, I think you're right, was more in their transfer window, but also in their manager. Those managers cannot get those players to overperform in the way that you
Absolutely.
sometimes need to stay up in Serie A. Like, we're looking at it now with Cagliari, who still have a goal machine in João Pedro, but like the rest of that team is absolute hot dog water, dog shit, whatever you want to call them. Like, it's terrible out there. Like, I cannot stand to watch that team. I guess Dalbert's coming back because those guys aren't going to be able to
Oh,
afford him on
fuck
Serie
me.
B type money. So I mean,
I don't want to see him back.
I
he's
forgot
coming
all
back.
about that guy.
He's coming back because that team is bad. And like, I mean, they
That's not
hired
bad.
Mazzari, who started Nandez. We're way off topic now, but started Nandez as a striker this weekend. Like,
What?
oh my god, yeah, he was playing a 3-5-2, and it was Nandez as a second striker off of João Pedro, and it was I don't know what is
Oh
going on
my
out there.
god.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, save
FYI,
Nandez, save Nandez. That's what it was. Say free my
Yeah,
guy. Like,
yeah. We
that's
need
what
a
we need to be
hashtag
doing in
free
January.
Nathan.
in the last month and a half, Dalbert only played 10 minutes. If that makes any difference.
Damn. So
How
this
much
guy can't even.
contract? I'm going
He can't
way
even
off
get
now.
into. He can't even get into Cagliari. So that's crazy.
He can't get into the bottom team in the league. That is pitiful.
I just don't understand who scouted him and who actually paid 30 million for
Oh
him.
no, that was
Dude,
all Sabatini. That was all Sabatini, bro.
You think so?
he catfished. He low-key
Yeah.
catfished it. Where was he? Nice? I mean, he was like, I don't know if it was just legal and farmers league type shit, but like he was looking like Cafu out there.
Those highlights were.
I was hyped. Okay, his contract. No, that's just his. I think that's just his option. I don't know what his contract is, but he can't. There's no way he can be at this club much longer. But I want to go back through some more comments. Got to get off here in like the next couple of minutes. Anthony Privatera, got big guy with Interworldwide, of course. Our boy down under says, "Nice one, boys. Enjoying the show. We always appreciate the shout.
Thanks,
Always,
Anthony.
always loving getting love from another Inter podcast. Ian celebrating his hijack of our podcast.
2023, his contract expires with Inter.
Okay, 23. So yeah, I think he's just going on a free back to Dalbert. I mean, we're gonna find him alone next year, and then he's gonna walk after that. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
think you're getting any money for that
Might as
guy.
well let him walk. Yeah.
But it is what it is with that guy. I don't know how I ended up on a rant all the way over there. But I was thinking about that Cagliari team after what I saw this weekend, and I was like, good God. Okay, well he's injured right now, Dalbert is. But
Of course he is.
yeah, another one of those guys. And you were right about Esposito. He's also injured. He got a muscle injury. And
yeah, because I
then
follow him on Instagram. I see he's watching the games like at home, so I figured he's.
And doesn't Switzerland take like a big midseason break? I know that's very
I really have
yeah.
no
That's a
idea.
very tough question, very
I
obscure.
have
But
no idea.
I think they're one of those leagues that takes a big winter break because I mean Switzerland in the winter, like you can't really do too much.
Shit, yeah, hell yeah.
They can go
So
skiing at least.
yeah, I'm sure the winter sports are nice, the views are nice, but yeah, I think that gives him time to recover, and I'm excited to see what he does down the stretch.
Yeah, because that was always the question is whether he could do it for an entire season. Because I mean, he's been showing all types of flashes, but now you gotta show that okay, this is who I am. This is not just what I could be. This is who I am already. So let's
Yeah,
see.
for sure. All right. Any last comments, guys, on anything at all? Anything we've missed? Yeah. Any general anything we've missed? Anything you
Nah.
wanna shout? Okay.
Oh,
Hristo?
I wanted to say this. So like you guys did touch on that, but I didn't really get to really second it. But yeah, the defense is definitely improved. It's much improved. 4 matches in a row now. At first I was like kind of iffy about it because it was what Empoli and Udinese, and then we played Sheriff and now Milan. Like none of those teams created anything from open play that I felt personally threatened by. So I feel like we're finally figuring it out defensively. We're balanced. Hopefully that will translate into results and the other teams can start dropping points so we could get back to where we belong.
Yeah, for sure. Defense is going to be big. They say it wins championships, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Hristo, anything in your Quaresma shirt over there?
Let me try to think. Hopefully PIF buys Inter so we can get Onana in the winter.
Yeah, that would be
Oh,
the
he's
move.
going to the African Cup of Nations.
He's going to the cup.
Yeah.
We're fucked anyways.
Handanovic until the end of the season. I hope you're ready.
Oh, yeah. Inshallah, brother, inshallah.
Okay, so I guess we'll see if anything, maybe some more PIF stuff comes out over the break. Maybe something else happens during international break that we should cover. So I guess be on the lookout for us again before the international break is over. My little thing here says we got 5 in the chat. Or 5 watching. I mean, that's awesome. I think that's one of our highest live streams so far. I mean,
yeah, we usually do this for ourselves.
Calm down, people. Calm down.
Yeah, small steps. I appreciate everyone who's stuck around to this point.
Thank you guys.
For anyone that listens, watches, streams. We appreciate it. And we'll see you all in the next one. Enjoy your international breaks.
Peace.
Ciao.